I learned so much from her. I mean, the talent just oozed out of her, and there was something that I saw from Amanda that just was so intriguing.
Drake, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
One word to describe where you are in your life right now.
My goodness. One word to describe where I am in my life right now. Content.
I like that word. And why would you say you're content?
I think because the past few years and have been sort of a tumultuous thunderstorm, and reliving a lot of my past and going back and revisiting things that had a profound effect on me emotionally and mentally, and you know, finally getting through the fire and the tornado. It's really nice to be through it and moving forward, and you know, going through what I've been through. Content has always been something that just feeling content and okay in my own skin. You know, dealing with this for so many years, I've found it difficult sometimes to just be alone and be okay with that and in my own thoughts, and yeah, so I think you know, it is a roller coaster, but just being content in the moment, living in the moment, and experiencing life as it happens instead of living in the past or concern and fear of the future has put me in a place of current tranquility, I guess.
I think there's no better word you could have said than content. And just meeting you, I can feel it. You have so much great stuff going on. Let's talk about your music. First of all, I didn't know you did the theme song for your show way back in the day. The talent has always been there. What does music mean to you?
Music is really everything to me. I don't journal or have a diary or anything, but that's how I've been able to get my thoughts out, and when something affects me in life, or I have events going on or experiences, I tend to get them out through song. That's like my journaling. And it's interesting, a lot of fans are going back. I made my first album kind of when I was going through a lot of the trauma and stuff that had happened to me in the past.
So how old were you then?
I was 14, turning 15. And I was working on my first album, and I was writing a lot about what was happening. And then I had finished the record after I had spoken with my mom, and it had come out on the inside, not publicly yet. But so a lot of my lyrics and songs I was writing about that time. And it's interesting. A lot of fans and people are going back and listening to those songs, and it's really it's taking on a whole new life, and they're seeing it from a completely different perspective. And it is, in a sense, like they're opening my journal and getting to peek inside.
Is there one song or lyric back then that still resonates with you, or that fans are picking up on?
Yeah, there's a specific song called "In the End." Wake up, it's time to get your things together and drive away. You know, the monsters in your head have left you all to yourself. It's okay if ugly little things remind you of how it felt. And then the chorus is, and in the end, are you stronger? Do you no longer have to recover? And where have you been since it's been over? Over my shoulder and under my skin, will you ever return there again? Wow. So it's a fear of, will this person ever return? You know, and have you recovered, or do you no longer have to, so it's dealing with a lot of that.
What would the answer be to that little boy?
That we're going to get through it.
Yeah.
That, and you're going to be at a place where you will be able to go back and hold his hand through it. I think because there's been a lot of time in my life dealing with this where going back and talking to that little boy would have been, I don't know I'm sorry, but it's going to be really, really hard. But now I'm able to go back and say, don't worry, I can grab his hand and walk through the fire, and we do come out the other side, so it's going to be okay.
Your new music, let's talk about the video, and for the song, I Kind of Relate. What's the meaning of the title?
Dealing with this type of subject matter and going through therapy and working through all of this, I found myself in a lot of group settings, and I was able to, I always felt alone in it. I always felt, how do I tell my story? No one's going to understand. I'm going to be judged. No one gets what I'm going through. And in these group settings, I was able to hear other stories and other people's similar experiences. And it really gave me strength and let me know that I'm not alone and that other people relate. And as I was sitting down and writing this song, that was the first lyric that came to my head. I was just sitting there and I'm like, I kind of relate. I found beauty in my pain. I would go through the thoughts of, is this going to destroy me? I can't let it destroy me, but is this going to break me? And turning that on its head and saying, let's use this as a strength. Let's use this as a superpower. Let's use this as something, as tragic as it sounds, but let's use this for good. And so that's where letting others know that I too relate. If you have experiences like this, like I kind of relate with you, and I can empathize and I can understand, and I was able to find beauty in the pain. What's the next one? I found beauty in my pain.
You can sing. I love your voice.
I'm running away from all the abuse and all the shame. Yeah, so I'm running away from all the abuse and all the shame, and you always have this sense of and a lot of my record deals with escaping and running away. There's a theme. The theme is, it's actually a fun theme. It's kind of a concept record. All of the artwork goes back to the golden era of commercial flight, when every seat was first class,
yes,
and everyone would dress up,
yes,
and it was so extravagant and luxurious, and before the pajamas and the pillows on the flights and the cramped seating, and it's that sense of like, I want to escape, I want to get away, I have to get on this flight and run away, and that's a feeling that I've always had. But through the process of writing this record and going through the healing process, you can always run away, you can go somewhere, but you're always where you're going.
Yeah.
You're always going to be where you end up, and if you don't work through it and process it in a safe and healthy way,
you can't.
There's no escaping.
The video, you go back to your Drake and Josh bedroom. What was that like to sort of see all that again and relive that? Was it mixed emotions there?
Well, when I was working on Drake and Josh, that was, and really any time that the cameras are on and the lights are on and I'm able to jump in, that was my safe place.
Yeah.
That's where I lived. That was my home. And when we were coming up with the concept for the video, we thought, oh, we should rebuild the Drake and Josh bedroom. And I'm thinking, oh, how are we going to do that? It's a very there's a lot of detail in that bedroom, but it's very iconic. And I was thinking, man, that'd be so cool. And then I got to set and I saw it rebuilt, and I went and I sat down on the couch, and I just looked at her and I said, this is a trip. I go, you guys, I feel like I was here yesterday.
Right.
I mean, I was instantly right back, and it was very surreal. It was like being on a ride simulator at an amusement park.
I'm glad it brought up good memories from the work.
Yeah.
The work and the fun. So that's not taken away from you.
Yeah, no, that's the difficult juxtaposition that I struggle with, is even though it was a very dark period in my life, I have such fond memories, and I had such great times and made such wonderful relationships, lifelong relationships that I still have to today. Getting to work. I grew up watching Abbott and Costello, Martin and Lewis, George and Gracie, and Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, and I just loved buddy comedies.
Yes.
And I was fascinated by them, and I thought, oh, one day, I'll get to work with somebody, and I'll get to be a Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis duo. I was absolutely obsessed with Martin and Lewis. And on the second season of Amanda Show, when Josh arrived, we didn't really work together because he was a new cast member. I had already had established characters on the show, but there was one scene, one sketch called Tony Pajamas, where we were kind of paired up.
I think I remember.
And we were playing like a little Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and I remember it so fondly, doing that scene the first time, and looking at him, and he's ad-libbing, and his comedic timing is so brilliant, and I remember looking at him and going, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And this was before any thought of Drake and Josh, or any thought of us being paired up. More after this, on the Amanda Show, we were paired up a lot more. But prior to that, I just looked, and everything went silent. I'm looking at this guy, I go, oh, you're my Jerry Lewis. Yeah. You're my Lou Costello. Oh my gosh, like, this, are you kidding me? Did I manifest it? How am I sitting here? And so there's such beautiful memories from that time, that even though it was a dark experience personally, and I was going through a lot, whenever I go back and I look back, people ask me, are you able to watch Drake and Josh? Are you able to? And I watch it with happiness and joy.
I love that. Yeah. Again, they can't take that away from you.
Exactly.
The Amanda Show, we found your audition tape.
Oh boy.
The talent, you're incredible. What do you remember about auditioning for that show?
Well, I got called in for the audition, and they wanted me to create 3 characters. It was sort of like an SNL audition.
Yeah.
And I had to come up with 3 original characters. I had to write the material and come in and present them. But as a kid, I was always doing all these different characters and voices, and I said, 3 characters? How am I going to limit myself to 3 characters? What voices of characters am I going to choose? I got so many. And so I ended up doing this monologue that my dad and I put together, where I ended up doing something like 28, 30 different characters within a 2.5 minute period, and went in and that was my audition, and I linked all the characters together so I could get through them all, and that was heaven to me. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, wait, I get to go on a show where I get to do different voices and wear costumes and play different characters, and I mean, this was a dream come true. Have you kept up with Amanda? Are y'all still friends, or has she reached out? I haven't spoken to Amanda in many, many years. Unfortunately, no, because we had such a great connection on the show. When I first started working on the Amanda Show, I grew up with her on All That. So getting to work on the Amanda Show, I felt like I was getting to work with Gilda Radner. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, she's a huge star to me at 12 years old, and And then working together, and we had an instant connection, and we were able to establish and create, you know, wonderful characters together. We played off each other so well. We ended up having a really great bond working together, and I learned so much from her. I mean, the talent just oozed out of her, and there was something that I saw from Amanda that just was so intriguing and impressive. Was, you know, and it's so rare in this industry. You find it in people like Dean Martin, like Elvis, like Lucille Ball. It's this effortless.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, some people are funny, but you can see them like working.
Yeah.
You know, and with her, it was like Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
It just was just natural. It oozed out of her.